So I published another book yesterday. It's not a novel. It's a nonfiction work. It's called The Rough Drafter, a guide to rough drafting for the indie author. It's a thing. It's a thing. I'm sure I'll make a bunch of videos about this, but I wanted to give a quick sort of history of how this happened and why this happened so quickly. So I mentioned a while ago, like a couple of weeks ago, that I've been a freelance manuscript evaluator, I'm calling myself now, but I've been doing freelance developmental editing and paid beta reading for over 6 months now, which seems like a nice milestone. So I was on Threads back on July 15th. For reference, today is July 28th. So back on the 15th, I got on Threads and kind of floated this idea of writing up a general guide to how to write a rough draft for indie authors. And this was based on my experience as a developmental editor, where I found repeating themes and areas of concern in indie authors' rough drafts. And I felt like I was repeating myself after a while. So I just thought, well, maybe if I just typed up all these sort of general guidelines that I use as a basis for my service, people might enjoy that. People might want to read that. They might find some value in it, or some humor in it, or some inspiration in it for how they approach writing their rough drafts. That post on Threads got 73 likes, which might not sound like a whole lot on social media, but it's sure a heck of a lot more than I've ever gotten practically anywhere. And a handful of people said they were very excited and very interested to read whatever it was that I wrote. Now, finding a potential audience that's excited to read something that I can write quickly was pretty intense. So I wrote nonstop for 6 days and got it done. And I handed it to my editor, who's fantastic, and I'll talk more about that later. I handed it to my formatter, who's also fantastic, and I'll talk about that later. And everything went a lot faster than I thought it would. So I went from July 15th with the idea to July 27th to the publication date for this. I actually like the fact that I wrote it this fast. Does it bother my perfectionist tendencies? Absolutely. But I could spend 3 years working on this and it still wouldn't get published. So, in the spirit of promoting the idea and vibe of a rough draft, I wrote it like I would ideally write a rough draft. It's rough around the edges right now. Mostly, I'm looking to just read the reviews. I want to see what people think about it. If people like it, if they see a value in it, if it's worth developing, then I will absolutely come back around for a second edition that's much more fleshed out with a lot more examples and more thought outs, like really put the time and work and effort into illustrations, all that sort of stuff. But if people hate it, then it's not gonna, I don't want to spend more time on something that people don't like. Anyway, The Rough Drafter is now available on Amazon in ebook and print. I haven't gotten a proof yet. I don't know what the paperback looks like. I hope it's okay because I ordered 5 author copies. And if it's not, I'll fix it because that's what we do around here. If you guys have any questions about the guide, if you want more details about what it is and how it happens, if you want to know more about the process of how I went from idea to publication in under 3 weeks, leave me comments, leave me questions, send me messages. I'm happy to answer any and all. I hope you guys are having a great day. I'll make a lot more videos about a lot more other subjects later too.